Please lay it.
Thank you, Sir Roger. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. I'd like to congratulate my honourable friend for securing this important debate and for raising the particular issue of geography and the urgent need to support people living in extreme weather, as backed up by the honourable member for Strangford, who is, of course, here, as he is in every debate in the Westminster Hall, and for my honourable friend from Inverness, Skye and West Rossshire. But I would just like to say that those of us who live in the south can be similarly affected, where many of the homes have solid walls and thatched roofs, which are incredibly difficult to insulate or upgrade. But I do accept that it is slightly warmer down south. It is shameful that in a modern society many families are being forced to choose between heating and eating, and we're seeing food banks not only handing out food parcels but hot water bottles for people to stay warm. And in Dorset, the Help for Warmth scheme, alongside some of the major energy suppliers, is now providing households with air fryers to help them reduce their energy costs this winter. Liberal Democrats welcome the extension of the Household Support Fund and the added flexibility that is being given to allow councils and their delivery partners like Citizens Advice to use some of the funding to address the causes of poverty. Because whilst welcome, giving households a payment to simply pay the bill is putting a sticking plaster over the problem, which is, of course, the rising energy costs in the first place. For the sake of people's health and well-being, for their financial stability and for the future of our planet, we need to move to a position where we reduce demand. As mentioned by my colleagues, the UK's homes are among the worst insulated in Europe, which is why the Liberal Democrats have focused for so long on upgrading the homes that we have and building low-energy homes for the future. So it is disappointing that during the GB Energy Bill, the government rejected the amendment from my honourable friend from South Cambridgeshire that would have ensured the new body facilitates a home insulation programme. And following on from our general election manifesto commitment for an emergency programme which would provide free retrofits for all low-income households, as flagged by my honourable friend for Winchester. It's also shocking that new homes are still being built without basic low-energy measures, and I welcome my honourable friend from Cheltenham's Sunshine Bill, which we hope will see solar PV installed as standard on new homes. Residents in my constituency of Mid Dorset and North Poole have written to me completely bemused that they are expected to welcome vast solar farms on what they see as open farmland, when the rooftops in Wimborne and Merley are not being covered in solar panels. Yeah. And when the government said they would unleash a solar rooftop revolution, we need to see this happen, because analysis from Solar Together has showed a drop in the uptake. The claim that such measures would add significant cost to house building, which we know under the previous government the developers were saying, are really spurious. When I served on the Local Government Association's EEHT board, we spent many hours collating the views of councils everywhere. And I want to pay tribute to the former leader of Barking and Dagenham Council, who chaired that board. He made the case very eloquently that if councils were funded to cover the rooftops of social housing and public building with solar PV, we could transform the sector. The scale of the investment would enable colleges to deliver the courses in green skills, and the supply chain would be developed, reducing the cost further for homeowners to invest in their own properties, making it not the preserve of the wealthy. And as Lib Dems, we would balance this with policy that would allow homeowners to offset spending on insulation, low-carbon heat sources, EV charging points and climate adaptation measures against income tax bills. And we already know some providers of green mortgages are providing beneficial terms for those such investments. Fuel poverty is a trap. Once households are stuck in a place where they are simply feeding the meter to stay warm, they cannot look beyond to plan for the future. So we need social tariffs for those who are struggling, and we need the government's response to the consultation on the standing charges to progress more quickly. It's reassuring to know Ofgem are looking at it, but I would like to ask the Minister to provide an urgent timeline for this. In terms of the social tariffs referred to my honourable friends, it is worrying that the reliance at the moment is on the warm homes discount. When I visited the staff at my local Citizens Advice in Wareham, they consider that the warm homes discount needs total reform, including a requirement for all energy companies to be included in the programme. And it does feel rather ironic that our local water company, Wessex Water, does offer a social tariff, but the energy companies don't. Whilst talking about supply, I couldn't miss the opportunity to remind the Chamber, Sir Roger, that the Liberal Democrats believe that the windfall tax must go further. The super profits of oil and gas producers and traders should be helping to fund not just the renewable sector, but the upgrade of homes so that no one has to use as much energy to heat their homes. And I couldn't wind up without referencing the winter fuel allowance, as every member has so far. My team have checked that we've had close to 500 residents in Mid Dorset and North Poole who have written to me about this. Colette from Poole told me, "I can't afford to get cold. I have 3 lung diseases. I will likely die as the NHS is crumbling under the strain and others will be taking up the beds." Glynis from Corfmullen, like the constituent referred to by my honourable friend from Harpenden, said that she would stay in bed longer, and Stephen from Wimborne said he would have to hug his dog to keep warm. I am glad that honourable members referred to the council's role in this. Every time I visit a library or community centre, they tell me about how these places are now being used by people relying on them to stay warm. And I've heard my bus company concerned about people riding the bus all day to avoid putting the heating on at home. But buses aren't running in so many places because rural areas don't have them. And more councils are having to close their libraries. So what happens then? And one other thing which I don't think anyone's mentioned is the risk of fire. The strategic assessment for Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service has even listed fuel poverty as a risk. They state there has been a rise in alternative heating methods, increasing the risk of fire in homes. In conclusion, Liberal Democrats believe that people in fuel poverty need support now. They cannot wait for 3 more winters, as indicated by my honourable friend. The most effective way to end fuel poverty is to invest substantially in renewable technologies and to give councils and communities the power to develop community energy schemes, including delivering housing efficiency measures street by street. I look forward to a commitment to some of these measures from the Minister.